All right. Shabbat Shalom to the full elect of the nation of Israel. We're going to start off this lesson by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh and Yahushua. All right. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule well and has taught us this word in truth and sincerity. And peace and mercy to the full elect that are also pushing this word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. All right. And as well to your little man and sisters as well. Peace and mercy to you that sincerely believe in this truth. So today's class, we're going to go into Revelation, the 12th chapter, which deals with a lot of history, a lot of our own history, and some prophecy as well. These breakdowns are very important, especially for newer brothers that are coming into this truth. These breakdowns are very important for you to understand, and even for us to revise over. Okay. So, Lord willing, I'm going to be doing one breakdown a week. Y'all are us as well. So we will start now. We'll just get right into it. Revelation, the 12th chapter. So I can bear with me one moment. All right, so just get right into it. Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. It says, the woman Israel. Revelation 12:1. It says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Okay, and this woman is going into the nation of Israel, not Mary herself. This is represents the nation of Israel, and the moon and the star, or the moon and the sun, represents knowledge. Okay, knowledge and understanding, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right, and the 12 stars represents the nation of Israel, hence the number 12. Okay, let me get a quick precept on that. This is Genesis 37, because Joseph had a dream, and it was about a dream on the same thing almost. Genesis 37 and where is it? 9. It says, and he dreamed yet another dream, and told his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance unto me. Right, and the reason why it's 11 here, because Joseph himself was one of the stars of the 12, and the 11 were his other brothers. Okay, and he told his father, he told it to his father and his mother, or in his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother, which represent the sun and the moon,
which it's like, I gotta say, Joseph, remember there was 11 there, he's the 12th, right. Really there's 13 because Dan was there,
right,
but he's out of there now,
right.
But for you guys talking about Dan is the Cubans or some garbage, Dan is not in the 144, but that's just a side note, because Joseph represents Manasseh and Ephraim.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and it says, shall I, his father being the sun, and thy mother being the moon, and thy brethren, indeed being the 11 stars, to come to bow down ourselves to thee unto the earth? Right, so that's just to back up, Revelation 12:1.
I had a precept for you. Just going into the point about the woman. This is 2 Ezra 10, and you can read above for people at home about what's happening here. But this is 2 Ezra 10 and 40. It says, this therefore is the meaning of the vision which thou lately sawest. Thou sawest a woman mourning, and thou beganest to comfort her.
All right.
But now seest thou the likeness of the woman no more, but there appeared unto thee a city builded. And whereas she told thee of the death of her son, this is the solution.
Mhm.
This woman whom thou sawest is Zion, and whereas she saith unto thee, even she whom thou seest as a city builded. That was
Right.
point.
Con.
Beautiful. Wow. Yeah.
Back to
I have a precept on the clothing because it goes exactly, it links with what was just said, that because it's prophecy in terms of history, right? It was it's history, but it was prophecy when it happened. So this is Psalms 84 and 11, right? In regards to the clothing,
con.
what the woman is clothed with. So it says Psalms 84 and 11, for Yahweh this is italicized here. Our power is a sun and a shield. And then it says Yahweh again, Lord italicized, okay, will give grace and glory. No good thing will he withhold from them that walk uprightly. All right.
Con. Yeah.
And of course, the prophecy is that is going into the elect here, this uprightly, but it's pointing out what that woman was clothed with.
That's right. The knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Con.
Yeah. And there's another precept, real quick. I might as well just give it because it came up. Revelation 21 and 23. Can you read that? Or
Sure.
if you've got something, if you want to do, yeah, just that one in regards to the clothing and who's giving the light in regards to that clothing, that covering. Go ahead.
Revelation 21 and 23, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says, and the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for, let me start at 22. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord Yahweh Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of the Lord did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Because
All
that's
right. So this is going to be the fulfillment
yeah.
of that, what
Kingdom of
the
Israel.
woman is really wearing. Okay. That the Lord gives and the lamb lighting it up. But just wanted to bring that out in regards to the clothing. Go ahead, brother. That's all I got.
Yeah, because in this chapter, he's John seeing the prophecy of the kingdom, right, and what it looked like, or the kingdom of Israel, right, in Jerusalem, and what it looked like. So yeah, that lamb being Yahweh Shai, the light is the light thereof. That's where this knowledge comes from. Yahweh Shai is the reason why we have access to this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right, of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he said the book is written of him.
Mhm.
All right, so back in Revelation 12 and 2, it says, and she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pains to be delivered. Because that deliverance ultimately would come from Yahweh Shai, who came from the tribe of Judah. All right. You get a couple precepts real quick. Matthew 11, and I'm starting at 11, and it reads, Verily, verily I say unto you, among them that are born of a woman, there has not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And from the days of John the Baptist unto now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence. And that's why in Revelation 12 and 2, it says, she, being the nation of Israel, being with child cried, travailed in birth, right? And pained to be delivered, right? That pain to be delivered goes into the suffering that we went through in the Roman Empire,
Mm-hmm.
ancient Roman Empire. And from the days of John the Baptist unto now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mhm.
Let me get another one real quick. Isaiah 53 and 11. It reads, He shall see of the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. Satisfied, right? The Most High looking at the sacrifice of his only begotten Son, or his begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, right? Starting with the elect. That righteous servant is Yahweh Shai.
Mhm.
And it's through his blood that the elect are justified. For he shall bear their iniquities, therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, the elect, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors. And this is how we also know that Yahweh Shai, he died for the nation of Israel and their sins, but also his own sins in the reincarnation, his past life, as Adam, as Solomon. Okay, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors.
Mm.
You see, so that's the deliverance that, you know, us as a nation were waiting for. Okay, when you read here Revelation 2:12-2, and she being with child pride, travailing in birth, pain to be delivered.
Delivered.
Okay. Yeah, so going on, it says here, verse 3. So now he's jumping into the red dragon. Right? It says, And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. Right? And this great red dragon, you know, the word red should be a huge clue to who was talking about, being Esau, Edom, right? And these 7 heads are his 7 kingdoms, his 7 empires that he ruled in, starting with the Greeks all the way down to the British, right? You have the Greeks, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, Germania Minor, Germania Major, right?
Mhm.
And then you got Britain, okay, or Great Britain, they say. And then it says here, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, okay, and did cast them into the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her children as soon as it were born. Right. So let me get some precept on this. Let me actually get Revelation 17 just to back up what I read here in Revelation 12:12-3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. Right, and later on that, when you fast forward into the future, you got NATO and the EU. Okay, now let me get Revelation 17 and 17:9, and it reads, And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, right? So governments, rulerships, empires. Hold on, let me. Okay, 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth, right? The woman being America, because out of these 7 empires, when you get down to the Britain, the Great Britain, that's where America came out of, right? The War of Independence. and being able,
And then NATO and America, they work together, right?
right,
They
Mhm.
you know, NATO is a great military ally
con,
to America, you know. And then
right,
that's why when you look at the beast, you got the different heads, which you know, the brother I'm about to explain is the kingdoms, and then the 10 horns are that's the Commonwealth. Those
right,
are the
Mhm.
smaller powers, right?
right, fastest,
A horn represents a power as well,
con,
right? So you got like you said, today it's NATO and the EU, which is what? That's the Commonwealth,
right,
you know. That's the economic European Union, you
con,
know, that works with the NATO, and you know, it's basically an accessory to America because America sits on top,
right,
you
right.
know.
Right.
That's right.
Yes, that's
Uh,
Revelation 13, 1 and 2 at the end there you just described. Go ahead, brother.
con. Verse 10 it says, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, so those 5 empires, and one is, right, and the other is not yet come. So, and the one that is was the Roman Empire, and the other that's not yet come,
Mm-hmm.
right, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space, and that's Britain. All right, the one that yet not come is Britain, and continue a short space. That's Britain. When you look into how long they ruled, they didn't rule for that long
They ruled
before.
about 200 years,
Right, 200
you
years.
know. Yeah.
So yeah, that's it on that.
Oh, Salakia, I mentioned, I was saying the history. I apologize for just not to bring any confusion, but for those at home, actually, Revelation 13, 1 and 2 I mentioned, but it's actually in the same book that you just read at the top that explains what the elder was saying in regards to America now being that mystery Babylon. If you could just go there for clarification
Sure.
at the top of the book, brother, because the elder broke it down in regards to um, it is now fast forward into NATO and the EU, right, with America on top
Right.
and on top of the nations. Just get those scriptures.
Because in the ancient world, and yeah, and that's a good point, Malak, because in the ancient world, basically, you had the same thing.
Mhm.
You know, you had, you can look up when was Britain, or when did Rome go into Britain during the time of Caesar, Julius Caesar.
Right.
I think it was around 47 BC.
Mhm.
For some reason, that number sticks in my head. I could be wrong, but you
Mhm.
can look it up on Google.
Mhm.
And then all those different kingdoms, you have Germania Minor and Major and Spain, all these
Right.
different kingdoms. They, you know, when Rome conquered them, guess what? They went into their military as well. So it's pretty much the same thing with
Right.
NATO. You know, that's their.
Beautiful.
They like to say it's a peacekeeping organization, but we know it's a North Atlantic Treaty Organization. But basically, they, you know, they're the teeth.
Right.
Right?
Right. Con.
They're a military force.
Yeah. So,
Revelation 17, and was it 1 that you wanted?
just read 1, 2, and 3. Right,
Okay.
those 3 verses, because it brings it together where we are right now, which was just broken down.
It says Revelation 17 and 1, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and
Mhm.
the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast,
Mhm.
full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Right.
Yeah. Sorry, go down to verse 5, and that's the point. Actually, keep reading, brother, because what was just pretty much mentioned there is the power that's riding that beast, and it was already broken down. But this is where we are right now. Okay, go
4
ahead.
says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color.
Right, this is identifying her richness and power, and so forth like that. And there you go again. That purple was very popular back in the time of Rome as well. You can look it up, purple and red, but it's
Yeah.
symbolic of her richness anyway
Yeah, the
and
delicacy.
domination.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornications. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abomination of the earth.
Yeah, that's 666 in the breakdown, right? If you know, you got to know a little bit of the Hebrew and some Greek, right? But that Mystery Babylon the Great is a 6, right? And then the mother of harlots is a 6, and the abominations is a 6 as well. Okay, but that's the point on that. Just wanted to clarify for those at home, because there's a lot of information that we really didn't go into, but there's no need for it. But it's just to understand, simply put, that this is where we are, and the history was already made plain,
Yep.
right, and broken down. Anyway, that's the point on Mystery Babylon, the Great Mother of Harlots, the woman that rides the beasts. Go ahead. That's it.
Also, if I could make a point also, and also bring our precept going to the as you described, it says that going to the 7 heads with the 10 horns. That could liken unto how Daniel saw the statue that had the 10 toes on his feet.
Yeah.
And also that goes into Rome.
Right.
You get that in the book of Daniel chapter 2 verse 40. If you want to get that, brother.
Yeah, that's going into the characteristics of, as the elder mentioned as well. They're doing the same thing, but it's carried over. But yes, Daniel did point to that, but he comes back as a revelator, making it so plain. But yeah, go ahead, brother. That's beautiful. The history.
Daniel 2 verse 40.
Yep.
And it says, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things.
That's when the Roman Empire, when they came over the scene, they took over the, that before the Greco-Roman Empire, but before that, they took over the, I believe it was the Persians.
Yeah.
Before them.
Yeah.
But so basically, they took over
Greeks.
the
Greeks.
Yeah, the Greece, right? Then there was no other power that was able to to get to as much military might as the Romans did, right? Because no other power was actually able to overthrow them. That's going to their strength, which is like the iron, right?
Yeah, because all their weapons were made out of iron. It says, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things. And I think iron is probably the strongest metal actually out there. And as iron that breaketh all things, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and 10 toes, part of the potter's clay and part of iron. And the kingdom, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to the different countries are in NATO. Like some have like stronger military might, and others have weak military might.
They
So
call
it's not
them
all the
Pigs
same
Nation.
strength. Yeah,
the Pigs Nation, right? Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain. Those are the clay, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think they're also weak financially too.
Yeah, and also I believe Turkey is actually like the strongest military might in all of NATO. If one of the, it's not the.
Oh, okay.
The top one, yeah.
And part iron. The kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part iron and part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
Yeah, so those kingdoms, the Pigs Nations, they collapsed, right? They already collapsed, man. But now England is feeling it. France, nations that were strong, man, as a colonial powers, and really they have a term called neocolonialism. They were even doing neocolonialism.
Right. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Con.
Yeah,
That was point on that.
That's exactly what the elder just broke down, basically, about how you see them breaking apart,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and eventually they're going to be warring against each other with other nations. So back to Revelation 12:4, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them into the earth. Right, that third part of the stars of heaven, the stars being Israel, is talking about the southern tribe, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right, and cast them into earth. We were made tributaries onto Rome, okay, paying taxes. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born. All right, so let me get what is it here? Matthew 2, and I'm going to read 1 and 2. I'm going to jump down to the 11th verse. So it says, Matthew 2:1. Now, when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, right? Behold, because that dragon, this represents Esau, right? So Herod was an Edomite, right, playing as an Israelite, going back to John Hyrcanus, who forced a lot of these Edomites to take part in the customs of Israel. It says, now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men of the east, from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. Right? So that, right there, Herod started to get nervous. This is why Herod started killing all the male child, right? All the sons, right, of Israel back then, because basically he didn't want this king being Yahushua to come forth and then take down his rulership, his kingdom, because he was living good. And it says, and when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshiped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And it says, and being warned of Yahweh in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way, right? Because Herod had inquired them of where this child is supposed to be born. When they find him, right, to report back to him. Okay, and it says, and when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee to Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for into Egypt. And Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceedingly wroth, right? Because I think the space, oh yeah, it says it right here. It was exceedingly wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently acquired of the wise men. I think that time was about 2 years. So he was waiting around for them for about 2 years. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, in Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted because they are not. Right. And Rachel, when you understand, Jacob had 4 wives, right? 2 handmaids and 2, and Rachel and Leah. And Rachel had Joseph and Benjamin, right? So a lot of those kids, these 2-year-old children that you see, the sons, a lot of them were Benjamites being killed in that time. Let me get another one real quick. Jeremiah 31:15, and it reads, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter and weeping. Rachel weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children because they were not. And thus saith the Lord Yahweh, refrain thy voice from weeping and thine eyes from tears, for thy work shall be rewarded, saith the Lord Yahweh, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. Right? And there is hope in thine end, saith the Lord, and that hope is through Yahushai. And that thy children shall come again to their own borders. Right? The Lord's going through Yahushai, we're going to be brought back to the land of Israel, Jerusalem, but really that's going to expand into the whole world and these many planets in the universe. When you read about how Yahushua said, in my Father's house there's many mansions. All right. Verse 5, Revelation 12:5, it says, and she brought forth a man. Oh, I also want to bring this out real quick because even I myself made a mistake about this. But when you read here, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, when you go to Daniel, I think in the 8th chapter. Yeah, Daniel chapter 8 and 9. So, and also the tail is the strongest part of a serpent, of a dragon. Okay, so Daniel chapter 8 and 9, it says, and out of one of them came forth a little horn. So this one is talking about Antiochus Epiphanes. All right, but the little horn in the 7th chapter is talking about America. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great towards the south and towards the east and towards the pleasant land. And that's that's Jerusalem, that's Israel. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host and of the stars of the ground and stamped upon them. Right? And you can read about that in, the book of the Maccabees. All right, so
yeah, anyway, that's pleasant land is a code for Israel, the nation. Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, so Revelation 12:5, and she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. Her child was caught up unto Yahweh and to his throne. And the woman, right? Because you can
self-explanatory,
Yeah, you can read about that in Acts. Oh. And it says, verse 6, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of Yahweh, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Right, and that's right. That's right. And I think that time represents 350 years, right?
Yep.
From 1916 to 1969.
No, 1620.
1620. The water. Slack it. 1620 to 1969.
1620 was people ask, why is that date significant? Because that's the bulk of the slave trade. That's when it really kicked off. You had Jamestown, Virginia, and the slave trade really started to kick off during that time.
You're right. That's when Abba came on the scene in 1969. So wilderness, going back to, it wasn't just Africa, but the bulk of us fleeing was to Africa, but we really went all over the earth. Okay. And that's, I think, hence why I said that for the one was very difficult. Okay, no, it comes down later on. Anyways, verse 7, it says,
I got a precept because was this caught up, right? I just wanted to emphasize something on the caught up. The precept is Mark 16, 19 and 16, 20. But the point is that these gospels are prophecies. So this was a prophecy here when the record was given in Mark 16, 19. So it says, I'll just read it. It says, so then after the Lord, right? And we know that's speaking of Yahweh Shai, because it's capitalized and the rest is lowercase. I'd spoken unto them. He was received up into heaven, right? And sat on the right hand of our power. And I'm bringing this out for a reason, right? If you really want to understand, I'm talking to the folks at home, the young man, you got to understand the gospels because they're prophecies, right? And they link definitely with the we call it the what's that word? Apocalyptic, the book of Revelation that we're in. Okay, so the Savior was telling you that he's going to be received up into heaven, right? And the scripture was going into that you read. Okay, so he's received up to finish up the work, which is the mediatorial work. So I'm saying that to say, for all you guys out there, you Israelite groups, that you don't believe in Yahweh Shai's ministry and what he's doing, you have lost your reason. It's because you've slighted the gospel, because that's what this is going into. And verse 20 says, and they went forth and preached everywhere, right? And then it says the Lord working with them and confirming the word with signs and following and following. Amen. So the apostles are here again today, and the men of the Lord doing the work, and they understand these gospels because there were prophecies pointing to a lot of them were fulfilled, but this one here is a type of how would you say it was fulfilled, but it's also pointing forward to when he comes again, what they'll be doing. So I just want to clarify that, right? So that's a prophecy that was fulfilled. There's another type of that where he's going to receive the elect, right? Those who he's dealing with. Anyway, that's all I got on that. If they could understand what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Revelation 12 and 7, it says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels, right? And that's, you can read about that in what is that? Second Ezra, the 13th chapter, right? The point really is from 1 to 11. You read about that whole, that's what he witnessed. That's what John witnessed there. And his angels, right, is going into what? His fighter jets, his tanks, those are all the angels of Esau. Okay. And it says, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him, right? Right, and because his angels, again, that military might of his and his fighter jets, which really, when you go into it deeper, is his technology. Because his technology is what gave him all those weapons, the missiles, the fighter jets. Those are all technology. Those are all Esau's technology, which were given to him by the Heavenly Father. Right, and then you got the chariots. The chariots are so-called UFOs. Those are technology too, but it's heavenly technology. spiritual technology. And it says, verse 10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before Yahweh day and night. So Edom. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the words of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. Okay, let me get this real quick. This is 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 10. And I'll just read from 3 to 5. And it reads, but though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Yahweh. And that's basically what this devil has been doing since he's been in rulership. All right, he's been exalting himself against the knowledge of the Lord. Right, and you can see that he's been doing that, deceiving all nations to do the same, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahweh Shai, of anointed, and having in a readiness of revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. So that's what we're reading about here in Revelation 12 and 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth, of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Right, and that great wrath is going to be fulfilled through what? His legislations, right? The scriptures also refer to them as unrighteous decrees, which are going to bring even more oppression upon people, man. Dire straits, man.
So, like, that would be like going into his draconian laws that he's going to bring into place, you know?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, your 15-minute city lockdowns and climate lockdowns.
That's right.
You know, your social credit systems.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. And it says, and when the dragon saw that he was cast onto the earth, he persecuted the woman, right? And you can, because this you can link this to history too, right? Because let me get this real quick. Luke. See, these scriptures, man, they go into the past and they go into the future. And it's only the Holy Spirit that can guide you properly into understanding when it's doing that.
Yep.
Okay. Luke 21 and 20, real quick. And it reads, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereunto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. That's right. And that's why we got a bunch of gutter rats over there in our land. Right?
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's our history there. we have the proof in the pudding. The only thing that's pointing actually to to the prophecy fulfilling is the last words, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
only thing that has a great future application. But everything that you just read is our history,
Mm-hmm.
right? 70 AD, around there.
Yep. So
But
Revelation 12 and 12.
a lot of the events will look similar to what is happening now, but when you go into it, which is what we're doing to just make it simple, you'll see that it's completely different. Right? This will look like now, but it's not talking about now. That was the past. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. Go ahead.
It's
Yeah.
just going to be worse.
Yeah, that's all.
Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you at a great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast onto the earth, right, going back to Herod, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is when Herod found out that he was duped and started killing all the children, the males. And the woman, that this is going back to what I just read. All right, where we had to flee into Africa and all the different parts of the earth, Europe and everything, mainly Western Africa. Verse 14, it says, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness. Right? Africa, western parts of Africa, mainly the western coast of Africa, into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. And that goes back into what we said earlier, right? That time and times and half a times is 1619 to 1969, right? And bringing us over here to America. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, representing Israel, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. Again, that just goes back to what I read in Luke 21. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Yeah, because he fled into these different parts of the earth to hide from the Roman persecution. And when you go into Africa, it was hard. I mean, the Edomites couldn't even tell us from the Africans, the Hamites, so-called Africans. They had to tell us who. They had to tell them who the Israelites were. Mm-hmm. All right. And verse 17, it says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, the elect, right? Which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yahushua. Right, and that's going to be in this time, man. We're coming to this time where this devil is going to cast some of us into prison. This truth, and that hold the testimony of Yahushua. All right, but a lot of miracles are going to be done for the elect, and the Lord is going to put the Spirit on the elect to die for this truth as well. All right. Khan, so that's it. That's Revelation, the 12th chapter. Only 17 verses, so it's not too long. I don't know if brothers have any lasting precepts or statements.
Let me get this last precepts. Just went into Babylon. Jeremiah 51:2 is the point. And it reads, and I will send unto Babylon finders that shall find her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble, they should be against her around about. As these other nations going against America, Babylon the Great,
Yeah. When you read Second Ezra, the 13th chapter, it tells you that or Revelation the 17th chapter, it tells you that the Lord, that they're gonna war with this whore, being America.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be fighting each other, and then when Yahushua comes, they're gonna bound together to fight Yahushua.
Gone.
You know. All right.
Also, I want to make a point. It's like,
Yep.
make a point real quick. So going to like as in the beast, right? We know which know is like NATO and the EU. Also, like when you go into like the HQ or the headquarters of the United Nations, they have actually like a statue of like a tiger, or it looks like a leopard, like wings coming out of it. Which is supposed to like symbolize peace and security. But that goes to show you that as in this really this is like the scriptures coming to life. There's like actually I think they put it in like a couple like last year, if I'm not mistaken. It's called the
Griffin.
It says right here, a guardian of international peace and security sits on the visitors plaza outside the UN headquarters. The guardian is a fusion of a jaguar and the eagle, and donated by the government of Oaxaca, Mexico. It is created by the artists Jacobo and Maria Angeles. Yeah, and it looks like the beast described in Daniel 7th chapter. Yeah, that was it.
Go on.
Just for the record, because you this is a powerful verse. The last one, Revelation 12 and 17, right? This dragon, we already established and show who it is, and it says it was wrought with the woman, okay, and we know that's Israel, the whole nation, and it says, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. That's going into the elect. Now, if you can get me just in closing. This precept came to me, 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 69 and 70, and that's it. Because we'll take a look at that, right? Because it tells us here the reason why they're mad. This dragon is mad is because they have the spirit of prophecy. They keep the commandments and they have the Rakah Chodash of Mashiach Yahushua, because it is given them that glory at the beginning that we talked about, the glory that came from the Father, right? They have that, and that's why they're mad with us, basically on a whole. But that's a whole lot of thing to be mad about. So you have the precept?
Yep. This is
okay, that's it.
16 and 69. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. That's right. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. They shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in fire. Hear, O ye, my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. God.
That's it. Yep. Pretty much, that's a loaded book, as we know. But yeah, that's a point.
God. All right, so with that, we're going to close this lesson. Lord willing, this was edifying to the whole full elect of the nation of Israel. We're going to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh. All right, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and have taught us this word in truth and sincerity, and peace and mercy as well to the whole full elect that are teaching this word in peace, in truth and sincerity, as well as you little amount of sisters that believe. Peace and mercy to you. So we're going to say ball. And lower into the next live lesson, we say Shabbat Shalom to the whole full elect.
Shabbat Shalom to the whole full elect.